Alright there guys, and welcome back to a new video. Now then, today is the 5th of July. What is the 5th of July special for? Well, if you guys have seen my banner on Twitter that I've had basically since I created my account back in 2017, as my banner hasn't changed once, it has been exactly the same the entire time, you'd know what this is. On the 5th of July, 2015, Dragon Ball Super began. Finally. After, in 2014, a new Dragon Ball series had been teased, along with the Resurrection F movie that was released in April of 2015. But yes, Dragon Ball Super finally began on July 5th, 2015, 5 years ago today, and in honour of Dragon Ball Super's 5-year anniversary. Just like with my The Rise, the Fall and Rise Back Up of Attack on Titan series, I will be reviewing Dragon Ball Super. So, I will be doing one episode a week, every episode will be going up on Tuesdays for the next 5 to 6 weeks. On Tuesday, be sure to be here to check out the latest episode. So the only place we can start is the Battle of God's Ark. This is Dragon Ball Super Review, Part 1. So, we're greeted with a brand new opening for the Dragon Ball series called Chosetsu Dynamic, and it's pretty good. I like the opening, but in fairness, I like pretty much all of the Dragon Ball, almost every single opening for Dragon Ball. The original, the first ever opening for the series, the first opening for Z, even the second opening for Z, the Kai openings, even GT's opening I like a lot, and this new one is no different. So we start off with Goku doing some planting. Specifically, planting radishes. Whilst Goten is studying with Chi-Chi. Then Chi-Chi asks Goten to go give lunch to Goku. And Goku starts eating at his usually very fast pace, almost chokes on some of the food because he's eating too fast, and asks Goten to do a little bit of the work on the tractor, so he can start training to get stronger. So he straight away turns Super Saiyan and starts training. Now, Dragon Ball Super Episode 1 takes place 6 months after the end of the Buu saga from DBZ. Specifically, the fight that Goku and Vegeta versus Kid Buu fight. 6 months after that takes place is when Super starts. So while Goku is training, Goten accidentally drives the tractor off the cliff, but because Goku has instant transmission, he can just use it to get below the tractor and catch it. Meanwhile, it's also Gohan and Vidal's wedding, or almost their wedding. So Goten and Trunks go and find her a gift. They end up searching different stores with a lot of expensive stuff, which Trunks could probably pay for out of pocket because of he's Bulma's son, the richest woman in the world, I guess, since she lives and she's part of Capsule Corp. So they end up getting her hot springs water. But the way they get it is a bit stupid. They fight this giant dinosaur lizard thing. Well, no, more like dinosaur snake thing. Which is kind of the only thing Goten and Kid Trunks do in the whole series. That's kind of it. They give Videl her present. Piccolo is disappointed in Gohan for not continuing his training. And that's pretty much the end of the very start. Next, we have Vegeta going on a family vacation with Bulma and Trunks. And he only goes on this family vacation because, if you remember the promise that Vegeta made to Trunks back in the hyperbolic time chamber in DBZ, when he said, if you can hit me just once, I will take you to the amusement park. And of course, this is when Trunks showed Vegeta that he could also become a Super Saiyan. And Trunks gets his hit on Vegeta, and then Vegeta gives him a really hard punch in the face. And because Trunks hit Vegeta, that is why he agreed to go on this trip. But this trip consists of Vegeta getting annoyed by pretty much everything that happens. He even had a squid go across his face while Bulma was flying their Capsule Corp ship to the island. And when they sit down at a restaurant to start eating, one of the things that the restaurant serves is octopus. So Vegeta grabs it and says, "I'll eat your whole race," and then gets squirted with ink from the octopus completely, and he's pretty pissed off. So Bulma and Trunks are just like, yeah, come on Vegeta, don't make a scene, which he doesn't, yet. He decides to make a scene a bit later on, at the end, as there's a cruise ship going past the ocean from the beach that they're sitting on, and that's when Bulma decides that her next birthday party will be on a cruise ship. Which is, of course, the first very big difference from the Battle of Gods movie to the Battle of Gods saga in terms of difference. Battle of Gods saga, it's on a cruise ship. The movie, it was just at Capsule Corp, wasn't it? So that's one of the changes made. Oh, and at the end of episode 1, Mr. Satan gives Goku 100 million Zenny. Goku gives it to Chi-Chi, and that convinces her to let him go and train with King Kai. Then we meet Beerus again. But we have to pretend like we haven't met him before, since the events of the Battle of Gods movie are irrelevant here because they haven't happened yet. Beerus has his dream about the Super Saiyan God again, just like he did in the movie. And the prophecy, the guy he tells, the fish-looking guy that's inside of a wand-looking fishbowl thing from the movie, he talks to him again about the whole Super Saiyan God prophecy. Then Vegeta creates a scene by breaking all the windows by simply getting angry. Next, we have Goku training on King Kai's planet just like he was in the movie, and Beerus, before making his way there, went to a different planet where he was served food, and because the food wasn't to his complete satisfaction, he taps the table that he's sitting at with his nail, and half the planet explodes. So anyone who didn't watch the movie is instantly shown that just how much power Beerus has. Something that we had never seen before if you didn't watch the movie. How Beerus can tap a table and half of a planet can explode. Beerus arrives on the planet, Goku challenges him to a fight, just like he did in the movie. And then we get to the infamous Episode 5 horrendous animation meme. Oh boy. Let's be honest, Episode 5 is probably one of the worst episodes Dragon Ball Super has because of its animation. Simply because Dragon Ball Super started with very, very little preparation and time to work on, since it released just less than 3 months after the Resurrection F movie. So, in reality, Dragon Ball Super should not have started in July of 2015. It should have started later on with more preparation, but it didn't. So we had some of the worst animation, the single worst animation any Dragon Ball series has ever had up to this point. You've seen Episode 5, you've seen the animation memes. And Beerus takes Goku down in just 2 hits, just like he did in the movie. King Kai warns Vegeta, just like he did in the movie, and then we head off to the set of Bulma's birthday party on the cruise ship. This time we had a different kind of setting for the birthday party, where we, instead of everyone being relaxing, everyone's a bit more let's see, how can I put it? Everyone is a bit more excited about Bulma's birthday party. No, not as many people are relaxing. So we have the whole. We have a very, very short. We have the Pilaf gang, who haven't really added any sort of substantial content to Dragon Ball since the original series from the 1980s. So they're pretty useless and pointless to even be there. But they were there in the movie, so so they have to be there in the arc as well. We have the whole Trunks Court says Mai is his girlfriend to impress Goten. And then we have Vegeta not wanting to be involved, as usual, and then Beerus arrives on the planet. And Vegeta has actually met Beerus, actually knows who Beerus is, because he saw him when he was a kid, literally making King Vegeta kneel before him because he was so petrified of Beerus. So Vegeta knows he's up against something incredibly strong that even he isn't close to in terms of power. So keeping Beerus happy is the #1 priority here, just like in the movie. So if Beerus starts looking like he's getting annoyed, Vegeta starts trying to cook for Beerus, which goes horribly. Krillin eats some wasabi and burns his mouth out to keep Beerus entertained. And Yamcha slaps Beerus over the head. So, can we all just say it here? The first person in Dragon Ball Super to get a hit on Beerus is Yamcha. Just remember that. Yamcha did it first. And then, just like in the movie, the infamous scene of Majin Buu is too selfish to share his pudding. So this gets Beerus pissed off. He throws Majin Buu out of the ship into the water. And the fight from the movie starts here in the arc. Tien, Android 18, Gohan all charge at Beerus. He deals with them easily. Piccolo tries, he gets dealt with easily. Vegeta tries, he gets dealt with easily. And then we have Beerus aiming a blast like this at Vegeta. And just like in the movie where Vegeta's like, I guess it wouldn't be so bad if I got killed by a god like you. Until we have you know how in the movie Bulma started shouting at Beerus first about how he wasn't invited and how he's ruining her birthday party, and then slaps him, and then he slaps her back. This time Bulma slaps Beerus first, then starts having a go at him. She slaps him, which stops him holding his blast out, and says, I can't believe you're ruining my birthday party when you weren't even invited. And then Beerus gives her a backhand to the face, which Goten and Trunks have to catch her. And instead of going, that's my Bulma, like he did in the movie, this time in the arc he says, what did you do to my Bulma? And he becomes even stronger than Goku for a very brief moment of time, just like he did in the movie. Only this time when he charges at Beerus, you know how in the movie he actually got some solid hits on him? In this arc, he doesn't even do that. He actually doesn't manage to get a successful hit. While Vegeta's going really hard with his punches, Beerus just goes like this. Very, very casually, Beerus just blocks every attack that Vegeta gives. Then, Beerus gives one final chance before he destroys the Earth. And what is that? He challenges Oolong to play rock, paper, scissors with him. How stupid is that? That makes no sense. So Yamcha tells Oolong what to do, which is go scissors, but because Beerus has ears, he goes paper. No, he doesn't. He goes rock and wins. But just before Beerus is about to destroy the Earth again, in the nick of time, who is that standing at the very top of the cruise ship? Oh, it's just Goku. So Goku runs down the ship and appears and begs Beerus not to destroy the Earth. Then, just like in the movie, they use the Dragon Balls to summon Shenron, ask him about the Super Saiyan God. Shenron tells them that he can't just summon the god here, but he does tell them how to do it. So we have Gohan, Goten, Trunks and Vegeta all join together to put their hand on Goku to try and transform him into the Super Saiyan God. But it doesn't work. Just like it did in the first time. But because Videl is currently pregnant with Pan, that might work. So Videl joins in, and everyone's hair starts glowing yellow, and everyone was like, oh my god, Super Saiyan Videl, because Videl's hair turned yellow as well. But no, this has nothing to do with Videl being a Super Saiyan. It's the power that Pan has inside of Videl that's projecting to make Videl's hair look yellow, even though she's a human, not a Saiyan. And then Goku becomes a Super Saiyan God. And the ensuing fight between Goku and Beerus begins. Super Saiyan God Goku versus the God of Destruction, Beerus. And now here's one thing I really want to point out. In the movie, Super Saiyan God Goku doesn't land a single hit on Beerus in the movie. And anyone who's watched the movie knows that. Goku never lands a hit on Beerus in his Super Saiyan God form. However, in this arc, that completely changes. Goku actually gets many solid hits on Beerus in this arc, which I am actually very happy about. I think that was a good choice, because it actually makes Super Saiyan God Goku look strong. And the animation in these episodes with Goku and Beerus fighting was so much better than the crap we saw in episode 5. So Goku and Beerus are going at it. Goku bites Beerus' tail because Goku can't resist biting. Can't resist biting everyone he fights because it's just one of the tactics he uses. He did it to Kid Buu, he did it to Frieza, he does it to Beerus. But at the very start of the fight, Goku actually goes so fast that even he can't control it for a minute. Even he's astounded of the speed and strength he now has after becoming Super Saiyan God. So any blast Beerus fires at Goku, Goku fires back, and is able to hold his own on it due to the power he's been given, until Beerus reminds him who the god is out of the two of them, and gives him a swift stab with his hand into Goku's body, which makes Goku just fall, while everyone is looking at the battle from the ship, just like they did in the movie. Goku falls to the bottom of the ocean. But he thinks in his head of the battle what's just happened in the battle, and it gets him pumped up and excited again, and the Super Saiyan God power actually heals Goku's stab wound, and he just goes straight back into Super Saiyan God form, which in the actual fight with Beerus he didn't in the movie, and apart from to stop the Sphere of Destruction. But no, he just powers up straight back into Super Saiyan God, flies straight back up, and continues to fight with Beerus. Then the battle takes to space, just like it did the first time. And just like before, Goku can somehow now breathe in space, which we were told he couldn't in DBZ. But one of the best looking scenes in the whole arc for me is when Beerus and Goku both do this, and their aura turns into a red and purple dragon that collide. Oh, I find that such an awesome scene, and it's my personal favourite scene in the whole arc. Then Goku briefly loses his Super Saiyan God power, but just like in the movie, he doesn't notice that he's gone from Super Saiyan God back to regular Super Saiyan. But then, him and Beerus charge it at each other really, really fast, and they both go like this, and their fists collide like that. And because their power and the way they hit was so in sync, it created a massive shockwave. They do it 3 times. And Whis says, if they do that one more time, the entire universe is going to explode. And they are about to do it before Whis stops them. Beerus has his speech about telling Goku he just wants him to hear him give up. And Goku does give up. As Goku falls back down to the earth, this time instead of being carried down there by Beerus, he just falls, and Vegeta catches him. Beerus says, "A promise is a promise, and I'm going to destroy the earth." So he holds out his hand with his blast, shoots his blast, but it's very small and only destroys a tiny piece of... In fact, no, it doesn't even destroy anything, it just goes off into the distance and explodes, because Beerus fell asleep when he shot his blast. Which in the end was probably intentional, because he didn't really want to destroy Earth. So Beerus and Whis head back home, and that concludes the first arc of Dragon Ball Super, the Battle of Gods arc. So, what did I think about it? Well, it was a pretty bad arc, if we're honest. This arc is nowhere near the quality of the movie. I mean, first of all, the animation is a massive downgrade. Hell, this arc's animation was somewhat worse than the majority of DBZ's animation, and that was over 20 years earlier. The most of DBZ happened before 20 years before Super was even created. But the things I did like, I personally did not find any issue with the location change for Bulma's birthday party. I thought that was fine. Vegeta going on a family vacation was actually quite funny. But personally, before Beerus arrives at the birthday party, I just don't see... It's just not as good as the movie. Like in the movie, when Mai takes Trunks hostage and puts a gun to his head, and then starts shooting at Gohan, and he uses his finger to block all the shots, and then one of them hits Videl in the leg. We had nothing like that in Super. This arc didn't provide anything like that. All we got was Gohan showing Piccolo a picture of their wedding photo that they were all in, and Piccolo's eyes happened to be closed when the picture was taken. But yeah, my final thoughts on Dragon Ball Super Battle of Gods arc, not very good. And this got Super off to an incredibly rough start. A lot of people were hating on it, even more than they were on Dragon Ball GT. Personally, if I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would give the arc a 4.5 out of 10. Just below average. Because it was bad. It wasn't good enough to be considered average. It was bad. And does it get any better in the Resurrection F arc? Well, join me back here this time next week for Dragon Ball Super Review Part 2, where I cover the Resurrection F arc, where the most famous villain in the entire franchise makes his return, Frieza. But until then, that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, follow me on all my social medias, and until next time guys, catch you later.